Welcome back, y'all. Today we're gonna be dropping a needle on something a little different, something a little softer, maybe even a little truer. I like to call it jukebox poetry. It's where the stories turn into verses and verses turn into moments you feel kind of deep in your chest long after the words fade. Think of it like it's kind of walking into an old bar or an old diner at midnight, the glow of the neon sign buzzing and the jukebox in the corner playing songs you know more about your life than you've ever said it out loud. That's the space that we're going to be stepping into today. So I don't know, pull up a bar stool, pull up a chair, settle in. Let's let the music do what it does best. Okay, this one's called Jukebox Poetry. It's off my last book, When the Music Fades. I hope you like it. The bar was half empty. The jukebox sat in the corner like a relic of another time. It was scratched and worn, but still working, still humming the songs that few even cared to listen. It didn't look like much, but it held the memories of 1,000 nights. Nights filled with laughter, arguments, spilled drinks, and the sound of boots scraping against the floor. I dropped in a coin, leaned back against the bar. The glass in my hand felt cold, the whiskey smooth, but with enough burn to remind you it was there. The first notes of a Merle Haggard song floated through the air, soft and steady, like an old friend coming back to visit. It's funny how those songs never really leave you. They stick in the back of your mind, waiting for the right moment to rise up again. The jukebox was like that, a little bit of poetry wrapped up in steel and glass. The words weren't fancy, but they were real, the kind that spoke to men who had lived hard and worked harder. Men who didn't say much, but felt everything. The songs told their stories from them and about the women they had loved and lost, about long nights on the road, about hopes that never quite panned out. And in those stories you found yourself. Even if you hadn't lived through it the exact same thing, you knew the feeling. The loneliness, the restlessness, the pull of something you couldn't name. The jukebox didn't judge, it just played, song after song, giving you the words you couldn't find on your own. I watched a couple of old timers at the end of the bar nursing their beers and nodding along to the tune. They didn't talk much, but they didn't have to. The music did the talking for them. They had their own history with these songs, their own reasons for sitting here on a Friday night instead of being anywhere else. Maybe they were remembering something, or maybe they were just trying to forget. It really didn't matter. The jukebox gave them what they needed, just like it always had. I thought about the nights I spent in places like this, listening to the same old songs. Some nights, they lifted me up. Other nights, they reminded me of everything I'd lost. But that was the beauty of it. The songs didn't change. You did. What you heard in them was different each time, shaped by the life you had lived since the last time you heard it. The jukebox played on, spinning out its poetry, and I let it wash over me. The bar, the music, the whiskey. They all fit together like a piece of a puzzle. It was simple, but it was enough. In a world that kept moving too fast, that tried to pull you in 100 different directions, the jukebox stayed the same. It anchored you, even if just for a little while, in something that felt real. The song changed and Chris Christopherson's voice came through, rough and sure. I closed my eyes for a moment and let the words sink in. It wasn't just music, it was a way of life. The jukebox knew that. It had been there for all the heartbreaks and the small victories. It had seen men come in with the world on their shoulders and leave a little lighter, even if just for a song or two. I finished my drink and set the glass down, the sound of it lost beneath the music. There was something beautiful about the simplicity of it all. The old bar, the old songs, the old stories, pure jukebox poetry. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep you going when nothing else made sense. And that's the thing about jukeboxes. They give you just enough to get you through the night. The rest, well, it's up to you. I watched the bartender as he wiped down the counter, his movements slow and deliberate, like he'd been doing it for years. And maybe he had. He was the kind of man that didn't ask too many questions, and I liked that. He let you sit with your thoughts, let you listen to the music without interrupting. It was a rare thing to find someone who knew when to stay quiet. Outside, the night stretched long and dark, but in here, time didn't matter. The jukebox kept playing, and for a while it was enough just to sit there and let the songs do their work. You don't realize how much you miss those old country voices until they come back to you. They carry the weight of things you'd forgotten, of things you've tried to forget. Another coin dropped into the slot and the crackle of vinyl started again. This time it was Tammy Wynette singing about the way that the long gone but still lingered like smoke in the air. He lit a cigarette and took a drag, the taste familiar and bitter, like the years he had spent chasing after something he couldn't name. The jukebox seemed to know that feeling too. The songs were more about heartache. They were about the spaces in between and the nights you spent searching for something, for someone, and the mornings when you woke up to find they were gone, or in some cases wish they were. The two old-timers had gone quiet, staring into their beers, the music doing the talking for them. I imagine their stories weren't much different than mine. They'd seen their share of hard times, they'd loved and lost, and they'd made peace with it, or at least pretended to. But the songs, they had a way of digging up the things you thought you'd buried. They reminded you of the nights you'd spent wondering where it all went wrong. The thing about a jukebox is that it plays for everyone, but it feels personal, like the song was made for you at that moment in that bar with your whiskey half gone and a cigarette burning down to the filter. That's why you keep coming back, because the music doesn't just tell a story, it tells your story. The one you don't talk about much, the one that's only real when the lights are dim and the world feels a little smaller. I took another drink and let the whiskey settle in my bones. The night outside could wait. In here, the jukebox kept spinning its poetry, one song at a time. It didn't ask for anything in return. It just gave you what it had, and you took it, grateful for the small mercy of knowing someone somewhere had felt the same way once. B-17 spun slowly. The scratchy sound of vinyl filled the room again. The two old men sat on their corner bar stools staring into the flickering rainbow of colors from the music box in the corner. The tune was haunting, each note a reminder of the pain they had tried so desperately to forget. It was a symphony of sorrow, a soundtrack of a life filled with regret and longing. With each melancholy refrain, they felt the weight of the years pressing down upon them, crushing their spirit beneath the relentless march. And yet, there was a strange comfort in the sadness, a kind of solace in knowing that they were not alone in their suffering. For in the music they found companion, a silent witness to the depths of their despair. The Wurlitzer played softly in the background, the three-quarter time sound of a familiar melody drifting through the air. A lovely lady sat down by the window, shot glass in her hand, lost in thought. The song brought back memories of a lazy summer afternoon, of stolen kisses beneath the shade of a willow tree. She closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her like a gentle wave. For a moment, she was transported back to a time when love was new and every moment felt like an eternity. But as the song faded into silence, reality came crashing back, leaving her alone with nothing but the echo of a love lost to time. I noticed a young man walk up from the back. He sat alone at the worn wooden table, half-empty glass in his hand, lost in a haze of memory. The jukebox in the corner crackled to life, its mechanical whirling filling the silence with the strains of an old country tune. Instantly, he was transported back in time to a smoky, small-town bar on the outskirts of the Delta. He could almost feel the cool night air against his skin and hear the laughter of friends long gone. The music wrapped around him like a warm embrace, stirring memories buried deep within his soul. And he just sat and stared. That's the thing about these old songs. They don't judge you for the things you've done or the things you've left undone. They just keep playing, steady and sure, like the hum of the wind through the fields or the sound of a car rolling down a dirt road. And maybe that's all we need sometimes, a reminder that we're not alone in it all, that someone else has been through the same storms and came out on the other side, even if they're a little worse for wear. The bartender poured me another and I nodded my thanks. The jukebox clicked over to the next song and I settled back into my seat, letting it take me wherever it wanted to go. In a world that was always shifting, always tearing at the seams, the jukebox stayed the same. It didn't try to fix anything. It just gave you the music and let you decide what to do with it. And maybe that was enough. Maybe that's all you needed to make it through the night. Hope you liked that. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, ease on over to my YouTube channel. Give me a like and a subscribe, and maybe even share and tell people about it, and help me get these stories that I write out to more people. Thank you so much. I enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Have a blessed day.